Morning chaps, how the devil? This video is going to be me tearing strips out of Vice once again. Long-term fans of the Bootneck may remember this video when I pointed out back in March 2020, so over a year ago, how time flies when you are venting your spleen and bleeding out your eyeballs due to the fucking endless machinations of the clueless pissbags that run society. Anyway, what did I say back in March 2020? What out, chaps? How's it going? What happened to Vice? When did Vice become a tumour on the bollocks of society? It says most brown and black Americans are exposing themselves. Well, yeah, let's just do some basic math. Okay, if only 16% of Hispanics and 19.7% of blacks are able to work from home, then yeah, they're exposing themselves for a paycheck. But guess what? So are 70% of whites and 63% of Asians. So what about most Americans are exposing themselves to coronavirus? There you are, fixed. Most Americans are exposing themselves to coronavirus. Fucking done. Yeah, if you want to watch that, links in the description. This one even beats that one, doesn't it? Fucking Vice, my God. When you're so ideologically possessed, you start defending the worst humans on planet Earth. I mean, let's have it said, Pol Pot makes Harold Shipman look like an amateur, doesn't he? Pol Pot was an absolute professional. I know some of you thought I was going to say mad lad then. No, he was much, much more than a mad lad. He was an absolute psycho, a genocidal fucking warlord of the highest order. The shit that he did would make Moira Hindley blush. It is absolutely mental. And ultimately, the crux of this discussion is very simple. Because Pol Pot was a well-known communist, the people at Vice appear to be trying to whitewash what Pol did. I mean, it sounds absurd, but I'll read you the article. Vice published altered photos showing Cambodian genocide victims smiling. It unleashed an uproar. No shit, Sherlock. A Cambodian woman. There's a photo of a woman looking at the wall of fucking death unleashed by Pol Pot. They aren't pleasant family photos. Nobody's enjoying the bouncy castle. Yeah, they hadn't just got off the go-karts, and they'd definitely been nowhere near a fucking ice cream van, right? A Cambodian woman stands by a wall of photographs of prisoners of the Khmer Rouge regime in one of the rooms of Tul Seng prison, also known as S21. S21 is believed to have held approximately 14,000 prisoners while in operation, most of whom were intellectuals and high-ranking officials. Only 12 survived. Only 12. So from 14,000, 12 survived. And Vice think, oh, you know what? We might be painting our warped communist ideology in a fucking negative light here. Let's add some smiley pies. Let's see some pearly whites, shall we, girls? It really is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It said up until the regime's overthrow in January 1979, the policies that were put in place resulted in the creation of a state defined by repression and violence. Weird how the Washington Post doesn't make any mention of far left, communism, collectivism, none of that. Just repression and violence. 2 million people lost their lives, forced labour, starvation, torture, executions by a communist. By a fucking lunatic who spent far too much time around the French. Because what do I keep saying? Whenever there is a clusterfuck of monumental proportions, you can bet Jean-Claude was fucking involved somewhere. They cannot run a piss up in a brewery. They wonder why the Anglosphere is arrogant. British elitism, American elitism. You know why? Because we're not French. I wouldn't trust a Frenchman to reverse park a skateboard, let alone a transit van full of booze. They are shocking. It says Vice Media Group is facing fierce backlash after publishing photographs of victims of Cambodia's brutal Khmer Rouge regime that were digitally colorised and altered to show some of them smiling. Why would you do that? Why? The original photos were taken of S21 prison, which operated from 75 to 79. The manipulated images, first published by Vice Asia on Friday, with the headline, "These people were arrested by the Khmer Rouge and never seen again," including an interview with the artist Matt Loffrey, who manipulated the images, prompted a wave of outrage and condemnation from Cambodia's government and cultural institutions. The photographs in the article were removed from the news website on Sunday. In a statement, they acknowledged the images were manipulated beyond colorisation and the story did not meet the editorial standards of Vice. No fucking shit. Why didn't you just Photoshop some ice cream cones and some balloons in there as well? Stick Ronald McDonald in the background, you balmy bastards. We regret the error and will investigate how this failure of the editorial process occurred. Yeah, how did it happen? The Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts issued a statement saying if they didn't take down the photographs, they would quickly launch a lawsuit. They said it affects the dignity of the victims. No shit, fellas. The Ministry also said it will consider taking legal action through national and international channels. The National Cambodian Heritage Museum in Killing Fields Memorial said in a poignant statement that the artist used photographs without the consent of family members who lost their loved ones in prison. What a twat. What an absolute spunk bucket. I think I can guess his political affiliation without even looking into it. Do you think I'm right on the money? Throwing about words like ridiculous, commie, Antifa, BLM, postmodernism. Well, let's have a look, shall we? Can't see much on his Instagram. Can't find much about him. Weirdly though, he's also done My Colourful Past with the War of Irish Independence, and they all look like they're fucking buzzing as well. Look at him. Why does he look like he's getting a handy off his local priest? He's ate less scran in the last 6 months than Kate Moss had when she was working professionally, and Kate Moss used to survive off Tic Tacs and rain. And here he is talking about the cooperation between organised labour and Sinn Féin. We'll just have to call it a working hypothesis. But his weird fascination with making the perpetually miserable look like they're loving life genuinely fascinates me. He obviously has the situational awareness of a brick and the tact of a punch in the fucking nuts. It says, oh, here we go, finally a mention of the Big C. The dictator Pol Pot and the communist Khmer Rouge attempted to create a classless agrarian society. At least 1.7 million people were executed or died of starvation, disease or overwork. Vice did not immediately respond to requests for further comments, nor did Loffrey. He's also done it with mugshots. What the fuck is with this bloke? She was probably about 10 minutes off the electric chair, that fucker. Yay, buzzing. Not buzzing. Well, soon to be buzzing, but in a vibration and 20,000 volts way, not the colloquialism for being very, very pleased. One of the classic things is to try to be friendly with your captor, so a smile would seem natural. I'm sure it's very easy for the oppressor to smile because they have all the power. And when they see a smile, yet power, there's another one. They love going on about power, the commies, don't they? And when they see you smile, you may try to mirror it in order to become synchronized with your captor, to make yourself feel like you have some control, he said. The Khmer Times reported. Fucking hell. Yep, we're all buzzing in the gulags, boys. Loffrey also claimed the colorised portraits humanised the tragedy. Fuck me. Why is he interested in humanising it? Why don't you just Photoshop Pol Pot in clown shoes, you maniac? Matt Loffrey in Vice is not colorising S21 photographs. He is falsifying history, tweeted John Vink, a photographer who spent more than a decade working in Cambodia. Well, he's in good company at Vice, isn't he? Falsifying history. Now, where have we seen that before recently? Well, there you go. We're in peak fucking lunacy, aren't we? Clown world is a real thing. I keep saying it. It most definitely is. Vice, you are not worth the digital paper you are printed on. The Washington Post, clusterfuck that it is, makes Vice look like a dishcloth with scribblings on it. They are both shocking. But, well, let's just have it said. The left-wing media, as a whole, BBC, my nemesis is at the BBC, New York Times, Washington Post, they have all become ideologically hostile to freedom, democracy, humour, order, and every single thing that we hold dear in the West. Vice, congratulations, you are back to the very top of my shit list, and I pray that you go bust very, very soon and save me from having a fucking aneurysm. My God, what a pile of shite. That's all I've got to say about Vice. Please don't click on anything they publish. I don't want to possibly generate tuppence halfpenny for them. Click on the Angry Bootneck instead. Go watch my last video about Vice. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you tonight for a live stream. You lucky devils. Toodle pip.